anymore. Let's get Maddie back in here. We talked before. Maddie, remind me, where did we land on our last conversation? What was the last thing we talked about?
Hey, so yeah, we were talking about why it's wrong to exploit animals. I was telling you that it is wrong, and I think where we left off was if I was going to be vegan or not. I
Okay,
think if I vividly remember it, I can't remember right off the top.
okay,
I
so
forgot.
have you decided to go vegan, Maddie? Or are you still responsible for animal exploitation?
Unfortunately,
Okay,
no, but I'm still trying to eat more healthier than I have been. I did tell you that it was wrong and I still think it's wrong, but I
right.
also as a person don't know what it's like to be vegan because I've never been vegan. Um
Okay. Well, I
I
want.
don't eat meat all the time though. I'm
Okay.
just gonna say that.
Okay, but I want to. I just want to let you know
I
because
don't eat it all the time. Just
right. I want to let you
wait,
know.
can you repeat that? Sorry, it's hard to hear you.
That's fine. Is this better? Can you hear me better here? I
I
just.
can kind of hear you.
Okay, well, maybe turn up
There
your
you go. I hear
volume.
you now.
Okay,
I hear
yeah.
you now.
I just want to let you know because you brought up health. Veganism is actually like not a diet. While it's true that people that follow a plant-based diet are at a lower risk of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and other chronic diseases, vegans also live longer on average. They're at a lower risk of erectile dysfunction. At the end of the day, veganism is not about health. It's about not exploiting other animals. It's a justice movement to liberate other animals from our oppression. Now, you say
Yeah.
that you're not vegan yet and you don't know what it's like to be vegan, but I just want to let you know that if you want support in transitioning to a plant based diet, I have tons of resources that I can give you. But I think that understanding the why completely is the most important part because once you fully understand the why, then the how comes easy. So, if you were in the victim's position, your victim's position, the animals, how quickly would you want this injustice to end? Would you want it to end right now or at some point in the future?
Right now.
Right. And do you believe that the number of animals being exploited by you should be zero or some number that is greater than zero?
So exploiting means like well, I just want to tell you that I've never killed an animal. I've never had the intention to do it. I never will. But I wanted to ask you a question because I've been wondering this for a while.
Okay, really quick before you ask that question, I just want to let you know that you yourself might not be killing the animal, but supply and demand, the way that supply and demand works, when you purchase animal bodies, animal secretions, you are demanding for their exploitation. That's how that works. Just like how if I went and I paid a hitman to come and take your life, I wouldn't exactly be the one taking your life, but I'm still responsible for that decision because I'm demanding for it with my dollar. So I just want you to be clear on that. Like me, myself, I haven't killed an animal on purpose either, but I have been responsible for taking animals' lives because I have paid for it in the past. And that's not in line with my beliefs, and that's why I decided to go vegan.
Yeah.
But yeah, what
Yeah,
was your
that makes
question?
so you were saying I think I heard you say rape animals, but I don't know how that works.
Okay,
I don't know how that's even possible.
sure. Let me
Um,
explain it to you. Yeah, let me explain it to you. So, in like the dairy industry, for example, cows don't just make milk because they're cows. Mothers make milk to breastfeed their babies. So, the standard practice in the dairy industry is to jack off the bulls, collect their semen, force it into the cows, forcing them to have babies. And then when they have their baby, they take the baby away because the baby wants to breastfeed. And that simply would not be profitable to the dairy industry because they want to take the milk to sell it to other people. So these cows are being raped. Similarly, in the meat industry, there's 92 billion land animals that we're killing every single year to consume for meat. And how are we keeping these 92 billion land animals in existence every single year? The same thing that we're doing to the cows. What we call is artificial insemination, but it's rape. It truly is rape because they're not consenting to being impregnated. They're just not consenting to any of it.
So then would that be the same for insects then?
What do you mean?
Because you said that cows get raped, but there's other like land animals like pigs. What about pigs? Or what about
The pigs are being raped
um
too. The pigs that we're farming, they are being raped too. They are like the same thing is happening to the pigs. Somebody's going and jacking off the pig, collecting their semen, and forcing it into the pig, forcing her to be pregnant. It is rape.
yeah.
So that's why I bring up race, and actually learning about this is kind of what pushed me to go vegan. I learned about this, and that got me to learn about the egg industry, that got me to learn about the honey industry, and I came to the conclusion that I have no good justification to continue exploiting other animals.
I didn't know raping animals was even a thing. I mean, I've never heard that term. You're like the first person that I've actually heard that from because I didn't
Well,
know that was a thing.
how do you feel about breeding? Breeding a dog, for example, or breeding any other animal?
Breeding dog. I
Yeah.
actually have like I don't even know. I don't I don't know because it's nothing that I've had to do, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tricky question just for my mind because like I don't my mind's not processing it the way it should be.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your honesty, but that's actually the intention of the meat and the dairy and the egg and the dog breeding industry. They don't want you to understand. They don't want you to think about it. They want you to just see these animals as products, but they are not. And, like dog breeding is wrong for the same reason that eating other animals is wrong, is because it's treating them as products for human benefit, which in all honesty, is slavery.
Yeah. So then so you're saying like every time like someone eats meat, right? Or like someone wants to eat meat, you're saying that technically they're enslaving animals just because they want to eat.
They are, yeah, if they go and they purchase a piece of meat, they are demanding for animals to be exploited and enslaved and murdered, whether they're aware of it or not. And most people aren't even aware of it. Most people aren't thinking about it. And that's what the meat industry wants you to do. They want you to not think about it. And that's what I'm here to draw attention to, because I want you to think about it, because these animals' lives matter and they don't deserve to be exploited. They don't deserve to be raped into existence. They don't deserve to be murdered. They deserve to live their own lives without human exploitation.
But the thing is the animal is already dead and the
Right.
animal is being cooked up for people to eat. So how's that exploitation if the animal is already dead?
Because that's how supply and demand works. When you go and you buy the already dead animal, you're paying for somebody else to go and kill another animal to replace them. Similar to like paying for child porn, for example. The video has already been made, the child has already been exploited, but you're demanding for more to be created. And you can obviously see the injustice in that, right? It's the same thing with the animal exploitation. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Right.
Um,
So,
I
like,
agree with like the stuff you say.
right. So you agree with me? You're against animal exploitation. You can see the injustice. So I'm wondering, Maddie, would there be anything that would be stopping you from going vegan today and aligning your actions with your beliefs?
Honestly, I like I told you before, I want to go vegan. I just like I don't know. I've always been around like meat, you know. I've because like I have people in my family. Some of my family's in the meat industry. It's so like I didn't know that me eating meat meant that I'm paying for another one to be killed, slaughtered, like replaced. Which is really sad, but I didn't know that that was even in like I knew that was a thing because again I've seen like actual dead animals like I've seen
Right.
and it's heartbreaking. It's not fair for the animals, but but I can tell you that I can't really say anything about it because I can't like I honestly can't have an opinion on it because I don't know it's wrong, but I don't know. It seems sad at the same time because, like you know what I mean? Like I have
Well,
sympathy for the animals because they don't deserve it.
yeah, I hear you, Maddie. And honestly, I can't judge your decisions before this point because you weren't aware, and just like like pretty much all of us, we're brainwashed by these meat and egg and milk industries to think that animals are products and to not see the injustice. So I can't judge your past decisions, but at this point, right now, you've been made aware that consuming animals is supporting their exploitation and murder. So, I just want you to know that until you decide to go vegan, you are responsible for other animals being exploited and enslaved and murdered and commodified. But you could align your actions with your beliefs today and decide to go vegan today and no longer be responsible for animal oppression. And I could give you plenty of resources to transition to a plant based diet and plenty of support, but really um, understanding why you need to do it is the most important part because then the how becomes easy. Because Maddie, just like you, I was in your position before. I didn't really think about this. I didn't think about me consuming meat is me demanding for other animals to be murdered. And I didn't make the connection. I saw like the burger on my plate as food and the cow in the field as an individual, and I didn't make the connection that they are the same. But I came to that conclusion, and so I had to go vegan. And right now, that's the position that you are in.
And now that I'm like honestly taking it into mind, I do feel really bad because it's not like me eating meat, right? Like I know how they die. I know how they're killed. But I didn't think that me eating meat had an impact on me exploiting animals.
Yeah,
Because to me, again, it doesn't process in my brain properly because I don't see it that way.
right. But that's why I'm doing these lives to bring it to your attention that it is completely dependent on you. Until humans stop demanding for animals to be exploited and enslaved and murdered, they will continue to be exploited and enslaved and murdered. Um, but like if you have a pen and paper, let me know. I can give you some resources to help you transition to a plant-based diet. But I want you to know it's not just about meat. It's also about like eggs, for example. Like paying for eggs is demanding for these female chickens to be exploited for their reproductive system. Paying for dairy is demanding for these cows to be exploited for their breast milk. And there's no form of animal exploitation that's okay.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, and that's why I come to your lives all the time because I like to just hear people out. I'm not the type to take sides, unless I really had to. And I think
Right.
all the people, I don't pay attention to the comments much, to be fair with you, because, they're just idiotic people that don't know
Yeah.
me yet. But I can tell you though, like I really enjoy watching you debate with people. I think, like I've told you before, you stand on business. You know what you want out of the conversation. And I think that's amazing that, you're doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
I have one purpose of doing these lives. I have one sole purpose, and it's to be the voice for the animals because they can't stand up for themselves. And I see their injustice, and it's honestly just heartbreaking. And I know that if I was in their situation, I would want somebody to be standing up for me and defending me and trying to end my oppression. So, will
but
you?
like I said, I'm not understanding the oppression. And can you elaborate on the oppression part? Because I've heard you say it a lot, but I don't get what that means.
Sure. So, treating these animals as our meat, milk, and egg producing machines, treating them as resources, treating them as something instead of someone, something that's here to serve us. It's wrong. And it's slavery and it's oppression. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And you were also talking about how people jack off to animals and that immediately makes the person a bad person because they're exploiting it, right? Like that's how it works.
Well, I don't think it immediately makes somebody a bad person if they pay for this stuff because I think that most people aren't even thinking about it. Most people aren't aware. Most people don't know that they're demanding for animals to be exploited. But that's what I'm here to bring attention to, and that's what I'm here to stand up for and to make you aware of, because, like, a lot of people aren't aware of that until maybe they hear me say it and, like, I can't really blame you for supporting it if you're not aware of it, but at this point, you are aware of it. So, you're now, the responsibility is on you to go vegan and no longer be responsible for this animal oppression and exploitation. And trafficking, because it's
Yeah.
trafficking.
Again, I get what you're saying.
Right. So, Maddie, you said
So then
that,
explain.
yeah, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, so explain trafficking for an animal. Because I know what it means for a human, but what does it mean for an animal?
Right, so trafficking for a human, right? It's buying, selling, or trading somebody, right?
Right.
So it's the same for
But
any
what does it
other.
mean for an animal?
It's the same thing. Buying, selling, or trading them and treating them as products.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I hear you loud and clear. Um, to end this conversation, I just wanted to thank you for letting me up. I really appreciate our talks that we have.
Yeah.
Feel free. You already have messaged me, so feel free to message me anytime you want to message me.
Maddie, do you have a
My
pen
chat's
and
always
paper?
open.
Because I would love to give you some resources for transitioning to a plant-based diet if you have something you can write down, or if you just want me to tell you
I
so you
don't.
remember.
Are you able to, like, after the live? Are you able to text me on
If
here?
I remember, I'll
Because
message you.
you have my thing.
Yeah, but
Okay.
just
And if not, I'll just see you in your next live and I'll talk to you about it too.
okay, but
Then.
Maddie, I want to end this conversation by reminding you that until you decide to go vegan, you're responsible for animals being exploited, and you don't have to be responsible for this anymore. You could decide today to go vegan and no longer be the reason for animal exploitation and oppression. But, in case I forget to message you, the resources I wanted to give you are challenge22.com, challenge and the number 22.com. This is a team of plant-based dieters that are experienced that can help you transition to a plant-based diet. There's registered dietitians on the team, so if you want to talk to a dietitian, they're there to support you. And then the other resource I want to give you is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is great. You can tell ChatGPT, like, hey, this is the foods I like to eat. What are some plant-based replacements? Or can you give me, like, this is my budget. Can you give me some plant-based meal ideas? And then they will. And then you can be like, can you give me a shopping list for these meals? And they will. So, and then of course, here on TikTok, Instagram, like YouTube, there's hundreds of thousands of plant-based recipes online already. But
Right.
yeah, we'll
Yes,
probably
and I have challenge22.com already on my phone, so I'm gonna look into it right now. Um, but I just wanted to thank you for talking to me. I appreciate our talks,
yeah, so
you
did
know.
Miss Maddie, and I appreciate you for being open-minded, and I hope that the next time we talk, you'll be no longer oppressing animals and living vegan in line with your beliefs.
You gotta, Jade. No problem.
All right, Maddie, have a great day. Thanks for joining. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the live and restart it. So if you're not following, be sure to follow, and I'll see you all in just a second.